Ready?
Yep.
What are we talking about?
I want to start with that.
What?
What are you doing?
Okay, so I've couple of interesting studies. I have been from I think Germany. Definitely don't happen in the United States where big pharma, never mind, doesn't care about the longevity of people. Basically, there's a few scientists that think that looking into the sun in the first 10 to 20 minutes of sunrise and the last 10 to 20 minutes of sunset, you actually absorb the rays of the sun through the iris of your eye and does something. I don't know what it does. So so yesterday at the farm show.
No. We had our company meeting.
And
then Josh is sitting in the back room
going
staring out the window.
And when Aaron unrolls the blinds, anyway, it's just immediately I'm like, sunlight, bing. Oh, I feel good.
Yeah, not even direct.
Yeah, no. Yeah.
So
no,
Josh is trying to be a
there's no
sunflower
sun.
in the back of the boardroom.
Just like whatever way, sunlight. Whew.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally.
So, got my frosty root beer. We're good. First video podcast.
Yeah.
This
and
was
we
not
only
our
spent
idea.
Hours
setting up.
I'm going to be a couple hours late. It worked out. I still sat here for 30 minutes while you set up.
We won't talk about that.
Yeah.
We got KNIVES on the table. We can't really, promote that, or YouTube will probably block us, which I'm sure they will anyway because of our rogue state of mind. But
yeah,
Ben, how do you feel about farming right now?
I don't even know if it's about farming, to be honest.
Okay, Ben, how do I
feel about farmers? Maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Okay.
No. What it means, we've been going through this entire process recently. We're getting all these questions, and it just makes me all the time. So
we really do need an old taxidermy deer. Just sitting right
so
here. We'd get mad and just like freaking throat stab it.
Yeah. So it just, oh man, markets are down.
A lot.
Was it WASD yesterday? No. Yes. No.
USDA.
There's just
USDA
the monthly
report. Something. I don't know.
Whatever.
The
report was out yesterday.
Report.
It's 2.1 something million. I don't know. Aaron took my phone, so I can't look it up.
We're grounded.
We got our phones taken away.
We're in our 30s and haven't really graduated at all.
So it's 2 point something million carry.
Okay.
Yield went up a little bit. Argentina, I think, went up.
Yeah, even though everyone down there is like, this is the worst crop we've ever had.
Yeah,
ever.
I've never.
But
so I literally...
What did you say all last year? It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter what you think or believe. All it matters is what they say. It
doesn't even matter what is there.
No, none of it. It only matters what the USDA says because that's what the board trades. Mm-hmm. So you just assume you gotta just assume that all those guys are idiots. Okay, we're there.
Yep.
And the only thing you've got is what they tell you and nothing else. And so that's what they're gonna do. They're gonna trade that, and that's it. So it's not like deliberate, malicious thought process. It's more of just that's all I know. So that's what you trade, and that's what you got. Now, we would talk about USDA of a tax, economy controlling entity. And, mentioned this last podcast, or not last podcast, but podcast last summer. Remember that and me talking? It was maybe even springtime. That everything's on a trick down.
Yeah.
And they've got to drive all these things down with it. In the first place is in the food sector, fuels, and everything else. And so we're on this downward trend. And no matter what, it's going to continue down until they equalize out the system. And I said that, and then we have just continuously gone down. Regardless of all the hope and everything going on, it's still down. And I still expect it to continue down. So I would think by midsummer we're going to be in the threes again.
In corn?
Yeah. I don't think we'll go way down there, but I guarantee you see 390 by July timeframe.
I would like to take this moment and say that we do not make marketing recommendations or advice, and you should not listen to anything we say in regards to management operations on your farm,
True that.
unless you want to.
It's not advised.
Yeah, no, we're not giving advice.
We're shooting a bull.
That's what
This
we're
is
doing.
my conspiracy on grain markets.
This is why we need the deer. Instead of shooting the bull, we're stabbing the... Well,
The
I
deer.
want to say caribou. I got a caribou mount over in the house.
Whatever floats your boat.
Okay. Do you have any more conspiracy on it?
No, not at the moment. Without just getting radical.
Yeah. Now, you keep saying... You've always said that beans is the most stable market.
Typically.
Yeah.
I was talking to a marketer just the other day, and we were talking about the bean market in China and stuff like that. But China's been out of the market for years, pretty much. They're kind of getting out in this new GMO thing. I think it's pretty detrimental
There's a lot of crush plants coming online, though, in the United States.
because we got to use it more domestically.
Yeah. Oh. Okay.
Because a good chunk of beans is exported.
Yeah.
Because China's the main importer.
Sure.
And now they approve GMO crops to raise in their own country. And so now we got more supply, potentially domestic for them. So that's the potential worry. That's what's driving it.
Sure.
So I don't know. I always said beans are the most stable, just based off of what I've seen. It just seemed like if you stack up negative news against beans, they'll go down a little bit, but they just don't want to stay down. So it's more stable. But there's bigger margins and things, depending on who you are, bigger margins and things in beans. So it's just a more stable, safer crop for most.
Sure.
But corn, 50 cents that's all your margin. And that's one day anymore. Where they took that expanded limits.
Mm-hmm.
I'm curious if they took that down or plan on taking that down.
Well, I don't know. I was talking. Bean texted me last night.
The guy.
The guy. Yes. Yeah, our buddy Bean, Joe Bean, as Wesley calls him. He said he talked to a FSA gal. And they said that they were figuring up ARC and PLC payments. I mean,
It shouldn't be.
boy, I don't know.
They're done in September. They're done off marketing year.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
It should be done. We did get
The disaster
ARC
relief deal.
this year. No, that's a different program. We got ARC in one of my counties
Okay.
this year due to the drought.
Yeah.
And that was all done in October. Usually around Halloween or before that. First of October, you get a payment. 5th, somewhere in there. You'll get some kind of payment. If you're going to get one in the PLC ARC program, there's actually a website you can look. It tracks through the year. So you can look. I don't even remember what it is. I hadn't looked in forever. But it tracks on how things are going. And you can look up any county in the United States, and it'll tell you.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know it varied by county.
Yes, it does.
Okay.
Because it's yield, too. County yield.
Sure.
And then price.
Okay.
Basis, I don't think that's factored in at all, but there's obviously some because sorghum 100% works off basis.
So now we're going back to conspiracy.
I don't think it's conspiracy.
Oh,
It's
okay.
just
Dang it.
there's no sorghum board, so they use December corn or corn board, and that's sorghum board, then minus plus basis, whatever it's on.
Okay.
Kind of like we told that guy yesterday.
I don't remember that.
He wanted $300 for a deal, and we're like, well, our market's 250, but the basis is 30 under, so we'll give you 220 for it.
The air filter guy.
That's
Yeah, the guy
right.
with the air filter cleaners.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did a group buy on air filter cleaners. The ones now,
Cleaners.
now we have video. A video. I should have brought it in. It just sat on the table.
This is our treasure from yesterday.
That's right. Our farm show find. Ben goes, it's really bad. I go to farm shows and I have my buddies and I get excited and I go and buy something. Well, then 5 of us ended up buying it. We spent like $1,300 on air filter cleaners.
Mm-hmm.
But looked cool. Nice guy.
Yeah.
Nice
We
guy.
made his day.
Didn't like it. Looked like he was going to go smoke it all on pot at the end of the day.
Not like the guy trying to sell you a potato peeler.
Yeah. No. Can I say what that guy said? Yeah, I can. So the guy said he had the best sex he ever had is when his wife chloroformed him. This guy was dead serious. Yeah, he's selling $130 potato peelers. Oh, man, this guy got so passionate about where the handles were made. because they were $70 cheaper made in China versus Germany, but all the blades are made in Germany. And I'm like, okay, let's do the math here. You're selling for $130 and you saved $70 on the handle.
But I didn't catch all this because I was over there working with the air cleaner guy trying to get a deal because
Ben was
our
striking a
booths were
deal.
neighboring booths.
Yeah. We watched his booth when he had to go pee, which ended up being quite a bit. But anyway.
But yeah, anyway, I come back. I just caught the tail end of something, and he was just complaining about buying from China.
That was it.
Oh,
That was it. That was the handles.
I wouldn't buy nothing from China, but he's buying the handles from China?
Mhm.
That makes a lot of sense.
And then selling it. Well, but he assembles it in the United States. So it's United States made.
So he's totally full of crap.
And he got chloroformed and nailed by his ex. So
I'm glad I was negotiating a deal.
it was fascinating. Colton and Craig were sitting there like, whoa. Anyway,
Yeah.
behold, we digress. Agriculture.
That was agriculture.
Okay.
Filter cleaners.
Yeah. I
Which
mean,
is
I don't know.
cool.
I don't know what fuel's going to do. One day, people are like, oh my gosh, contract fuel. But I don't know. I don't know what to do with fuel. I think, I don't know, maybe people, now if you're big tillage and everything else, maybe it makes a huge difference, but I don't burn that much fuel in a year.
It's a minimal expense. You know, only 50 cents for me is not going to make much difference.
Yeah. I mean, I probably burn 200 gallons a day during harvest, during an average harvest. If my combine's running 20 days out of the year, 4,000 gallons. I don't know.
50 cents, $2,000. In the grand scheme of things, almost nothing.
Feels like it anymore. Feels like
Because
it.
you're trained. You're trained to
yeah.
complain about a bolt being 50 cents higher than you thought. Yet you buy a $300,000 tractor.
Yeah. And you're excited about it.
Yeah.
And it just sits in your shed most of the year.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's kind of like a bottle of water. If I can get a free one, I'm going to get a free one. But I'm going to still go buy a brand new tractor. Well, I didn't buy a brand new one, but I brought a newer one.
Yeah. You were talking about this yesterday, farm show. What were you buying? Was it tacos? No. I don't remember what it was. I think we were taking a piss. And anyway, we weren't. That sounds weird. Forgive me. Anyway, as we were walking through the farm show.
Right. I need more to go on.
Sorry, man, I really don't remember. You said something about, I won't buy, I think it has something to do with soda. You said, I won't buy, I'll walk across the building for a pop. I don't remember. Go ahead. Just talk about something else, please.
I vaguely remember this.
It's same concept. You're
But
talking
it's like
about something for free, but yet it's like tripping over the dollar to save the penny.
Was it the one where I was talking about it for sport?
Probably.
That one is basically that you'll go to trade shows and it's not going to make or break you, but sometimes it's almost for sport to go negotiate deals, which is pretty bad because now whoever's listening and works a booth's going to be like, if I see that guy,
I'm going to go negotiate.
I'm not negotiating nothing.
That's right.
So,
We're done with farm shows.
yeah, we
Wink.
say that until
Wink, wink.
yeah,
Now we go to the next one.
That's right. We're done for trade shows from yesterday.
Yes.
Yep. Yeah, that was. I don't know. The other thing is you get cheap on some things and extremely. I don't know what the other term at the moment is, but you'll spend $300,000 on a tractor, $500,000 or whatever you're going to spend. But then a bottle of water is something that you'll sit there and beat up on forever.
We also talked about Fent. Past the Fent booth.
Man,
Like $800,000
price the
$700,000
Fent
for a
tractor, and I about crapped. It's like, yeah, no, I can buy a brand new Deere for a used Fent. So I'll just go do that.
Yeah. And I don't know. I mean, what are these guys going to do? What if corn goes to in the threes again?
Oh man, yeah, we talked about that yesterday.
We did.
Yeah, that's crazy.
If corn hits $4, and say you're $400 an acre rent, which some guys are going to crap their pants, but some areas that's a very real thing, and we're Gibbs is out. We've talked about this several times. But $4 corn at $400 an acre, you got to raise 100 bushels just to cover your rent.
Yeah.
100 bushel. Jeez. Anyway.
There's not a lot of wiggle room for that. So it's kind of like, oh, we were talking about selling some corn yesterday. You did sell corn yesterday. I was considering it, but I couldn't quite get the number I was hoping for.
Yeah, Stroberg made me panic, and I panic sold.
But it worked out for today since yesterday because it went down.
I'll give him that.
I don't know.
I really enjoy my conversations about grain
we were
marketing with
talking, it's
Stroberg.
Craig and Colton. Mm-hmm. And we were sitting there talking about why when it was $9 did we,
why
we
didn't
never
we
got to
forward
9
contract forever?
Why didn't we do 3 or 4 years ahead? Because we know it ain't going higher than that without something drastic.
Yeah.
I mean, if you really think about it, it ain't going higher than $9.
Right.
It takes something major.
If so, it's
it
for
is,
like a week or two.
Yeah, and it's not going more than like some fluke deal, 50 cents.
Well, so many people thought beans are going to $20.
Because that's what you see on the freaking news if you're reading it.
Yeah.
I don't care.
Yeah.
I did better marketing when I never read and watched anything. I just went to the elevator and I'm like, hey, what's the price today? Oh, dang, that's pretty good. I'm going to go ahead and sell some.
Yeah.
And then you start getting more informed and you make dumber decisions because you have more emotion feeding into it.
Which is the exact opposite of what we're taught in life. The more informed you are, the more prepared you are.
Yeah, you're
in
not.
everything but grain marketing and weather.
I don't care who you are. If you've got any kind of tie emotionally to that, you cannot hardly make a decision without getting influenced. And Craig said it, greed or hope, one of the two.
Yeah.
Either way, you're still being drawn at. This might be the wrong decision.
It's a fine line. When you're looking at grain marketing, that is a fine line between greed and hope. Because when we were in the $3 bushel for corn, when we were there, we said, man, if we had $5 corn, it would be real good. We get to 5 and we go, man, 6 would be amazing. We get to 7, and we're like, gosh, 8's going to be killer. You know, it gets to 780, and we're like, man, we are there. And here we are.
But 9 would be better.
Yeah. But
worst thing I've ever done and I've ever seen guys do is calculate what you could do.
Mm.
And we all do it. I just
did
did that. I think yesterday on the way. I did on the way home. I did it.
Did you?
Calculated up what you could potentially do if everything stays great. Because then that becomes your target.
Mm-hmm.
Perfect.
Well, and we talked about that on the last podcast, the profitability.
Yeah, but I was told by a guy once, you never go broke selling at a profit.
That's a fact.
It's not totally a fact. I've seen guys
Never
be really profitable on a farm and spend so much they're broke anyway.
I see. So they bring in a profit, then they're a poor steward of that profit.
Well, yeah. Because you sell at a profit. What is a profit? Is it agronomic minus, grain minus input? And what is in that input? Living expense? Do you have a private jet? Do you vacational winter? Do you whatever? That you can still go broke.
I do that.
Yeah.
I do whatever.
Let's do whatever is exactly right.
The bottle rocket with a broken fin.
You're staring out the window.
That farm show, yeah.
So.
That farm show yesterday. Man, there was the wine slushy booth. That guy, man, that was irritating. I was like, dude.
We know how that works.
I'll strike you a deal. And he's like, no. This gal walks up next to us. I'm like, she's looking at this. I'm like, hey, you should try that. Hey, anyway, she tries it. She's like, oh, how much is this? I said, dude, I just sold this slushy for you. She wasn't going to eat your slushy. I just sold you the slushy. Strike me a deal. I'll buy several of them. Nope. Wouldn't do it. But he said
sometimes you can't get in trouble.
He said if he's short, yeah, he's like, if I come up short, it comes out of my paycheck. If that was true, I respect that. I get it. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you for being upfront with me. Kind of like the air filter guy. He's like, my margin's 20%.
Mm-hmm.
Sitting here, it's kind of like, okay. We do 18% off.
That's Josh.
That's right.
How much will you pay me to take it?
Yeah, because if we buy 5 of them, you only need to make 4% on each one. Selling 5 as you would make 20% on selling 1.
Sure.
5 at 4% or 1 at 20.
Except I've seen you get mad when people try to Jew you down.
Yes. Piss me off. Yeah, go die.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Trade shows. Oh, that's whatever.
Yeah.
They're interesting.
It was a good time, though,
Yeah.
yesterday. We didn't tell
We
you.
did social experiment.
Oh, you want me to tell it? Yeah. You want to see my card trick?
Yeah. Josh's card trick gets worse every time I see it done. No, we're not doing a card trick.
Dang it. Okay. But no. What were we talking about?
Trade show.
Social experiment. Yeah, we were in
Yeah.
Enid, Oklahoma. We haven't even said this. We were in Enid at the Enid, the biggest little farm show.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's what it's called. We're there, did the show with Craig and Colton and Colton's dad. I can't remember his name. I feel so bad. Apparently, I met him in Wichita, face to face, shook his hand, everything. And yesterday, I go up and introduce myself. He's like, "We've met." I'm like, crap.
Yeah, I don't remember his name either. But I remembered him.
Really?
I knew that and we'd met him. I remember exactly where I met him. I can watch it as a reel in my head.
Really? See, I mean,
But I don't remember
Now,
his
granted,
name.
I was running around everywhere, just like, so I don't remember hardly anything.
You were nervous.
Yeah, but our social experiment, now we have video. Dude, we should make a pile of humic on here. So what I did, we were sitting there. Feel free to use this. We make no money on this council, but it's also worth what you paid for it. We had a pile of pins sitting there. Okay, we had some product on the table and catalogs, and we had a lot of pins.
Mm-hmm.
We found out we made really nice pins early on, and we lost a lot of money. Well, we didn't lose. Okay, a lot of expensive pins disappeared very fast
Right.
in previous farm shows. So we had some cheaper pins made, and we still had some good pins. You know, because there's all the little twerps, 10, 12 years old, running around playing the game of who can collect the most pins, which I played when I was a kid. So there's that. But, you know, but if we have a customer or someone come along and genuinely say, "Hey, here's a nice pin. Here you go." So we had a stack of pins out there at the end of the table, and they were flying off the table. I mean, like
There was probably 30 plus. And within
easily.
2 hours, which the first hour, nobody walked by. Hour and a half. There's
Yeah, it was
nobody
just
in
the
there.
dealers. Yeah.
And yeah, within about, we were probably losing one every 2 minutes.
Yep. I would say that's accurate. So what I did is I took the humic, and I'm like, I want to put the humic on the table. So we had this table. I poured this stretch of humic out, and I took the pins, and I say this corn is the humic like this. I just set the pins like this. Okay. So yeah, all of them under, like a little bit buried in the humic, sticking out both sides, except for one pin was sitting just on top. Wow, that's cool. Never mind, it fell off. The entire rest of the day, 6 hours, 4 pins left. 3 of the 4 were the one pin sitting on top.
That you asked them to choose.
Yes, and
Not yet, but choose a pen.
And people were walking. Ben was making fun of me. He goes, someone would walk by and whatever. I was like, "Excuse me, I'm doing a social experiment. Out of all these pins, which pen would you choose? If you're just first thought in your head, what pen would you choose?" Every single one. Well, I do that one. I go, interesting.
Yeah, every time. Turn around, look at everybody in the booth.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Anyway, made these people feel terribly awkward. But we lost less pins.
Oh, we did.
So that was fascinating. Feel free to steal that idea if you'd like.
Yeah.
But anyway, it was cool. But in the one pin that was pulled out from in the humic was done by a kid.
Yeah.
So I still don't get that, but as a kid, kids don't make sense a lot of times.
Yeah. So this is your social experiment.
And I did my card trick.
And he did his card trick.
Yeah. It was really killer card trick.
And we were tormenting a guy across the aisle.
I don't know if you're going to bring that up or not. It was the hair that did it for me.
It was.
It was the
It
hair.
was. Oh, I can't even think of his name. Anyway, it's not important.
No.
So, but yeah.
How long have we talked? 27 minutes. Let me sit back here. Guys, we just wanted to stop for just a second and let you know that we're looking to expand our team, building our group of distributors across the United States. If you are passionate about soil, helping people, farming,
Learning.
yeah, absolutely. You can reach out.
Info at singularags.com. Agros.
Singular Agros.
Agros, correct.
Info at singularagros.com.
Yeah.
Anyway, so will there be a link in the description? You can do that.
Yeah.
Techie. Catch you guys
Why he's
later.
a knowledge guy.
Yeah.
Catch you later.
What direction do we take this?
I don't know. How you going to make more money this year, Josh? You're not going to chase the white rabbit.
I'm not worried.
Well,
about
we say that, but I bet you will.
Honestly, I haven't even thought about it.
Depends on how busy I keep you.
True facts. True facts. I do not have time to hit the button to add more fertilizer.
That's right.
I don't. I do not have time to touch that. Gosh dang it, I'm done. Okay.
More fertilizer.
Chase the white rabbit.
Yeah.
Does this sound bad? That I truly, dude, I haven't even thought that much about it. The more I learn and the more efficient I try to become, the more I'm just like, the crop will do its thing. I know what it needs. I know how to give it what it needs, and I'm just going to let it do its thing.
How much can I talk about yesterday morning's call on the way to Enid?
Plenty.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we're talking with a guy, and I've said this on here 10 times by now, but we're talking to this guy, and
He's going to feel honored.
Is he?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
I hope so. Either that or he'll be pissed. So
Sweet.
Yeah. I love our odds.
Yeah. Yeah. So we talking to him on the way, and we were talking about nitrogen.
Yeah.
And he was talking about carryover nitrogen, and he had like 70 pounds of carryover. And the rec was like 30. And what was his words? You said it last night.
I just don't think it'll grow if I don't put it out there.
If I don't put it out there, it won't grow.
Yeah.
And I still go back to what York always said, and that's what I've said on here, was that if you think your management is the only thing keeping that plant alive or producing, then you've really got some stuff to learn.
Yeah.
Particularly certain crops, but some things happen, and obviously you have to intervene, but it's not exactly, I don't want to say hard. It's not too hard. It's relatively easy to grow a crop. It's dang hard to run a high-end operation that actually profits real high.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Can you expand on that just a little bit?
There is almost nothing in the field that'll happen that you can't find an answer for.
Okay. But
can
I would
always
say there's a
find-
lot of things that happen in the field that you can't find an answer for, but a lot of times there's nothing you can do about it.
Well, that aside, if you have a problem, you will find somebody who can tell you what to do. Right or wrong, they'll tell you what to do.
Someone will tell you what you want to hear.
True, but they're going to give you an answer of some type.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter right or wrong for them or for you. It's going to do something to grow that crop. So growing a crop is relatively easy.
Yeah.
You know, everybody has, I guarantee you, we do it every time we talk to somebody. What is your program? I'm going to fertilize it. I'm going to till it or whatever. I'm going to plant it. I'm going to spray it. I'm going to do another spray, and then I'm going to do some kind of
fungicide it.
whatever, yeah. And then I'm going to harvest it. I can tell you that 90% of your plan for the next 20 years is already laid out. The only main decision that you will change is the one that you make in the fall when you're ordering seed. And that's what are you going to plant? You can plant. And some it's not even that hard. They got beans, corn, bean, corn, and that's what they're going to do until they're forced to change that for some reason.
I saw a guy on TikTok. Heath, I think Heathman might have sent it to. I think Heathman sent it to me. I think Heathman, if you didn't, I'm sorry, but I'm still giving you the credit. I could look it up if Aaron hadn't taken our phones away. Anyway, this guy he was talking about a lot of these, like the PFR and the Precision Research Farm, and I mean Bex has a research farm, a very extensive one, and yeah, I mean it was the biggest swing return wise was on hybrid selection.
Yeah, but I wrote a whole deal about hybrid selection, how much it matters, which I'm not going to say it doesn't matter. It 100% matters.
Yes.
But it matters in the order of, I got this workhorse that works on this farm, and there's this new workhorse that works, potentially too. Them two compared to each other is minimal.
Okay.
As long as they have somewhat of the same agronomic benefits
similar,
and downfalls and whatever
similar
else.
genetic parents.
Right. And so it goes down that line. So that matters. But nonetheless, it's still that decision in the fall is one of the main decisions that you'll make that changes.
Mm-hmm.
Everything else, it primarily stays the same.
Yeah.
What are you going to change? I'm going to put some precision stuff on. I'm going to get some new tractor. I'm going to get a new tire or whatever. That... Because people put fat tires on and put tracks on and put triples and whatever.
They do. LSWs.
That's their main farm management change.
You're not lying. I'm
What's
sitting,
the main
I'm sitting
farm
here
management
thinking about
change?
people that they put LSWs on, and that's how they fixed a big,
that was
their
major
move for the
deal.
year. That was
Major
their
deal.
move for the year.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that LSWs don't work.
No, I'm just saying that if you're really thinking about what are you going to change, tell me what.
Same guys that go to no-till. This is my big shift.
That's
or
a big shift.
Strip till. That is a huge shift. We
Yeah.
talked about it. A very risky shift if not done properly.
Right.
And yeah.
But nonetheless, most people don't change.
Yeah.
And there's not necessarily anything wrong with that. I still do a lot of things today that I've done when I was freaking 5 years old, or not 5, but 8 years old, learning how to drive a tractor. Still doing some of the same practices today because they work.
Do you
now?
Well, and here's the deal. It's hard to us young guys. I try. I don't anymore. I'm thankful. I used to harp on my dad quite a bit. Like, gosh dang, And my dad was a pretty progressive guy, so maybe it's not a very good example, but I think all of us young guys go, man, I wish I could get dad to see this, this, and this, or see it this way. Just see it my way. And even if your way's right, your approach is probably wrong, but you're arguing with someone who has worked their whole life and has probably got a good amount of money.
Yeah.
Successful person. I think of your dad. Could he change up a lot of agronomics and do better? Oh
yeah,
he could. But how do you argue with success? And how do you
And my
argue?
dad-
How do you
so we
argue with
talk-
success respectfully?
Well, there's that. My dad always used to mention, and I said this before, it's a 3 to 5 year ag management swings.
Yeah. And we've mentioned that before.
Right. And mainly that's due to market and then weather pattern.
Okay.
So markets are in about a 3-year cycle as well. If you look at when we start going up to when we start going down, we're still on the downward side before we plateau. Probably 50 more cents or something like that.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, it's swing, and that's what influences your major shifts on an operation management wise.
Yeah.
So till, no till, strip till, whatever. If you look at our farms are stacked with machinery. We don't get rid of machinery. We just add because we know we're going back there eventually. So what the point is this has worked for a long time.
I might need that someday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've done it this way for a long time because it worked under a certain condition. What happens is when that becomes basically biblical law for you.
Sure.
And then you got a problem. Because no-till will wreck you on years.
Yeah.
Cover crops will wreck you on years. Tillage will wreck you on years. It's just, it doesn't matter. Everyone has a bad spot eventually.
Yeah.
If you're stuck, that's when you die.
Mm-hmm.
So you're going through this essentially war of life or whatever. If you sit in one spot, you will die.
Sure.
So,
Well, to a degree, machinery companies need that swing because, I mean,
it's developing new tech. There's
yeah,
slightly different variations. We saw like a rolling harrow yesterday that I've never seen one quite like that.
yeah,
It reminded me of I was telling you, it reminded me of a spring tooth that you pull forward to fold them out, and then you back them up to fold them up.
yeah.
And it was just very, very simple. One gang of it reminded me of-
Rototiller blades.
They look like rototiller blades.
Yeah.
I would say like sweet pickers, but not even that.
Bent throwing stars.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Just not sharp.
That's right. Yep.
So, but yeah, it's just improving a little bit or whatever. There may be a new technology here and there that comes along that makes it better. But, I mean, we update machinery. I mean,
Yeah.
I bought a brand new ripper last year, and we've had rippers since I started driving tractor.
Sure.
We have no-till equipment. We have strip-till equipment. We have, Coulter rigs, VTs,
Strip fresheners.
strip freshener, discs, sweep plows. We have land finishers. We've got them all.
Yeah.
There's years them land finishers never move. There's years the VT moves very little.
Mm-hmm.
There's years, my dad is pretty religious on disking still, but I use a disc occasionally. But VT's my first preference if I can get away with it, if I need to do something chopping wise. But nonetheless, still the point of the story is that our list of what we can use is wide because we know that this will happen.
Yes.
But I'm also a big believer in that assets sitting there not being used are worthless. They just continue to get worth less. So I do trade in and
Whoa.
get rid of things too. But
That's your silver nugget right there.
what?
Asset being used less is worthless.
Yeah. Yeah. But when I say that'd be years and years and years not using it.
Yeah.
I mean, we all.
I don't
like
know
I
if I'm going
mentioned,
to
we
use
have
my
a
strip till this year.
Right. But it ain't worth getting rid of
No.
because next year it may be the main tool you use.
But some people say, well, you still had to make a payment on that this year.
Yeah, but a down payment's a lot more than a payment when you need it back.
Oh, yeah. That's a good point. That's a
Yeah.
great point. Mm. Yeah.
So there's some of that. But
Yeah.
you move the whole operation to something new, then it makes sense to change. I mean, if you're, for instance, we're so heavy chopping now, silage. I still have a combine mainly because I hadn't been able to get rid of it and trying to sell it, but I'm pulling it back in because, one, not a lot of interest, and we're just going to hang on to it because it may change back. We talked about this yesterday to where we cut more, whatever. But, yeah, that's one thing. But anyway, what are you going to change this year? 90% of your operation is not going to change because you can rehearse your whole program to me. Even if you're looking for something new, I guarantee you're looking for one or less.
We stress I'll bet we stress 90% about that 10%.
Oh yeah, it's what do you do?
Yeah.
So
yeah. I'm excited this year to have some trials on. I'm going to do. We talked about this yesterday. Do your regular management, and then have a full planter pass of zero fertility management. Still do your weed control, etc.
Mm-hmm.
And just see what is that plant capable of doing completely on its own,
Mm-hmm.
and then have one pass of half your fertility management.
Yeah. While you're talking about this, I'm thinking about it on. Guys always tell me, you told me, I'm going to do all these trials. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. I'm going to take my farm, this farm. We're going to manage it like this. I'm not going to do anything over here, yada, yada, yada. And one thing that I always tell, and I've ground this hard last year with guys, is you can come up with a plan to farm. You can come up with a plan with testing. But if you can't execute the damn thing, you're wasting your time.
That's true.
So even if you're going to trial, pick how many trials you want to hit.
Yeah,
And then don't make them so complicated you can't hit them because then it's wasted.
sure.
Because time for me is a big deal.
Yeah.
And it is for a lot of people. Because I guarantee you have a problem with your this year, Josh has a problem with his planter, and you almost took off planting with nothing but seed. And you know how much that works, and you almost abandon it over half a day of planting.
I was pissed.
Yeah. So we know that that will happen, and you know that them trials will go to waste. And you know in harvest, it'll be the same way. If you can't,
Sure.
if you do all of it, I'm guilty of this too. If you do all of it all the way, and it's a matter of running the combine through there, and then you throw the trial away because you don't want to stop and weigh that off.
Mm-hmm.
Well, if you got 50 of those, the chances of that happening are far higher
Yeah.
because you don't want to do it.
Yep.
So what's the point? Now, I'm not really saving you anything as far as money. What I'm trying to do is save your time.
Sure.
So don't do things that are you can't follow through on.
Yeah. Well, it's really good. And I used to do so many trials, but I love trials.
Mm-hmm.
I really do.
And I'm not saying don't do trials. So I'm saying is do trials and
Manageable
follow through.
Manageable ones, and plan for it.
Mm-hmm.
Plan for it as best you can. And the
So
execution side.
Here's the reason I bring this up. If you could live to be 200 years old, you would be so stinking wealthy you couldn't stand it. Because you will know so much in that amount of time that you'll be super rich. So if you're wasting years throwing data away that you did most of the work to get, you're essentially throwing years out the window. So maximize, I'm an efficiency guy, so make it as efficient as possible, your time that you're doing.
So act like you've only got 3 years left to farm.
No, act like you've only got basically 70 years to do it or 50 years to do it.
Oh, okay.
But in the reality is that 50 years, you're going to be the most knowledgeable. When you get older, you just lose the prime or whatever. But you got a small window to really bank that out.
Sure.
If you could triple that by the time you get to done, instead of making 200,000, you're going to be making 200 million. You know, it's a lot easier to do that because your knowledge has grown and everything else. Your networks have grown, things get better. You're limited by your time that you have, whether that means in your prime or the year or whatever, your life.
Well, they say majority of your wealth is made after age 50.
Right. The majority of your advancements are done in your 30s.
Mm.
So
didn't we talk about that yesterday on the drive home? I think we did. We're all in our 20s and now we're 30 and we're like, okay.
It was passports. It was on the way down there.
That's what it was. That's exactly right. We all hit this 20, 21 years old and we all get our passports because hot dang, we're young, dumb, and full of.
We're gonna tour the world.
That's right. We're gonna go to Cuba and have a great time and this and that. And maybe you go, maybe you don't. Maybe you go study abroad or whatever it might be. And then you're in your 20s and you're like, oh, if I need that, I still got it. It's good. And then literally in the last 2 months, 2 of the guys in our company have needed a podcast or a passport.
Everybody's needed a podcast, apparently.
Everyone needs a podcast. Myself included in those 2. The other one, we won't talk about who it is. But anyway.
Yeah, because mine run up when I was 31, and I got mine at 21, and so did you.
Yeah. Mine expired 9 weeks ago.
Yeah.
And so I had to renew mine. But like I said, and all of a sudden you're 30. Holy crap. Once you circle back around to needing that passport for a whole new reason.
Mm-hmm.
Or you want it for fun. Now we're needing it for work.
Mm-hmm.
And it's interesting. Still need the same passport, but your whole purpose is different.
Yeah. Well, it's just the things you learn, experiences in life and career and whatever else. If you could take your dad's knowledge and experiences and transfer it into your mind, you'd be billionaire right now. If you could have started out at 20 with everything your dad knew, with the energy you have at 20, I guarantee you would have went a long ways.
Well,
already.
That's like Dad. You know, we're moving out of the cattle business. Slowly, not well. It's been slowly. Now it's not quite so slowly, but but still at the same time, I've heard Dad say, and not just about that. He said about his shop or um, whatever it might be. Set of working pens or clean up a farm. It looks better. Clean out drainage. He said, man, now that I'm here at this, at the later part of life, I got things how I want it. I wish I'd had it this way when I was young.
Yep.
It's like, boy, I wish I'd had this shop when I was a young guy. Think what I could have done.
Yep.
And I don't know. I don't think we're meant to
Yeah.
for a reason.
Well, and there's some of this you can curve by talking to people,
Yep.
but not being gullible. That's a big deal. Don't be an idiot when you go out there and talk to your whoever.
Yeah.
But I get too many people come to me and that guy doesn't know what he's talking about. I guarantee, and I've said it here, I don't even know how many times, but I guarantee you, if you go talk to him, there is a legitimate reason why he does that. He doesn't just do it for sport. He just got late. No, I can't say that. And some people get lazy, but there's a reason he does that. So for the longest time, this one guy I knew would just plant from, in my area, you don't plant till April 10th to 15th. Usually you get a few around the 1st, but they're planting things that are just, they got to get it out of the way. This guy's planting in March in my area, which is too cold.
Corn.
Okay. From March to nearly July 1st, he's planting corn. Not a massive operation. Not huge, probably 2,500 acres, maybe a hair more. There's four hired men, 3 or 4 hired men and him. And so I couldn't figure out, why do you do that? Why not wait till the ideal time? Well, more and more I watched and observed and learned from him. I didn't talk to him about it. I just was observing what he was doing. I started watching, well, my area, it's water. We don't get rain. It's all irrigation. If you don't have irrigation, most time corn is a loss, or it's sub-100 bushel corn, guaranteed. Watching, he's got 5 pivots on one well, or 6, or whatever. He can only run 1 or 2 of those at a time. Well, when the wind's blowing 40, 50 mile an hour and it's sub 10% humidity, that stuff is just dying. You cannot keep enough water on there. So he plants that so his peak uses are so spread out that one's done, this one's hitting the peak use.
Interesting. It was irrigation rotation.
It was an
due to
irrigation
water limitation.
That's right.
Whoa.
Every once in a while, you do say something that's somewhat smart. But it was something that almost unrelated to what I was attempting to do. But nonetheless, I learned that from him. Now today, with some of the new things I do that.
Ben does that.
Yep.
I remember.
And this guy is known to be an absolute moron. People in my area view him as a moron. But I've picked up some of the things I make the most money from today from him.
Interesting.
Some of my best irrigation technology, which I work with some of the big name irrigation companies and this stuff, comes from guys who are terrible at irrigating.
Would you say that he is viewed as a moron because of people's disinterest in paying attention to why he was doing that?
Oh, nobody wants to know why. Everybody wants to be the genius.
They just said he's an idiot. There's like, he's not doing it, or their way's better, therefore that guy's an idiot.
Yeah.
And they didn't take time to wonder, why is he
because
doing
the industry drives you to do what's perfect.
Yeah. 600 bushel corn.
You plant when soil's warm. I'm not going to disagree.
Sure.
You plant when the soil's warm. But I'm not trying to hit 400 bushel corn.
Right.
I'm trying to make a profit on that. So plant some early, plant some super late. I know the yields aren't there. You do your, spreads, but I don't have the water anyway. Mm-hmm. Now that's just irrigation management, but you can make other decisions, based off that too. So you can curve a lot of your learning curve or flatten that curve if you pay attention to the people who act like they don't know.
Sure.
If you run around as I know everything, in 10 years, we're going to lap you 20, 30 times already.
Yeah.
It's these guys who you want to have confidence, but you don't want to be an egotistical jackwagon.
Sure.
And even though if a guy doesn't act like in your opinion, he's doing something stupid. What I'm saying is look as to why he's doing that.
Sure.
So sometimes it's money, sometimes it's an actual agronomic decision, sometimes it's timing, sometimes whatever. So, yeah.
Really went into some deep thought there. Some
Yeah,
heavy conversation.
Yeah.
Mm.
So anyway, we can go on and on, but we're out of time.
We're out of time. We were told by the principal to keep it under an hour.
Yeah. So, okay, next time.
We get our phones
We'll cover
back.
that next time. I know. My feet are like vibrating. You're like bouncing around.
Oh, just waiting.
Yeah.
Dang.
Withdrawals.
Right. Oh, what a deal. Well, first
Okay.
video podcast. Guys, this is going on YouTube, right? Yeah, this is going on YouTube. That's what Joe Rogan does in his podcast. He goes over and he looks at Jamie in the corner of the room. And have you ever, you don't listen to Joe Rogan?
Yeah, I've seen some.
Anyway,
I don't listen
I Googled
to...
Jamie the other day. Have you ever Googled Jamie? Aaron won't talk. I'll just shake his head. Anyway, I Googled Jamie the other day because you always hear Jamie, but you never see Jamie in the video. That's what it would be like with Aaron. I Googled Jamie the other day, and I mean, he is like I would dare say, a large backbone of that podcast. You know, it's the most popular podcast in the world. Yeah. And I Googled Jamie, and I'm sitting there. And isn't it funny how we get presuppositions to what people look like? We'll hear someone.
Oh, yeah. We were just talking about this yesterday, the day
Yeah,
before.
yeah, that's right. And it's just like you have this picture of this person, and then you see them, and you're like, what?
Yeah, because this guy we were talking about, I was viewing it, this little English guy that's with glasses and short, and he's gonna bring in some biscuits and his tea and all this stuff, and then we get it's Smiggles from Lord of the Rings or something, you know. So I was so not expecting that when I walked into the room. So.
Yeah,
I'm just funny.
I'm just gonna leave it. Anyway, Jamie, that guy looks totally different than I thought he would, but alas, we digress. So, if you're watching the video podcast, like and subscribe if you would. Helps us turn notifications on if you want to keep watching, listening to these. If you're listening on the podcast platform, I mean, same. Just appreciate you guys' time. We're just two guys stabbing the caribou. So,
yep.
cool.
Sounds good.
Thanks.
Yep. Catch your one later.